Good afternoon. In this video, I want to read quickly from Ruckman's Bible. And this is 2:7, Romans 2:7. This verse has nothing to do with the New Testament plan of salvation. It describes how God treated the Gentiles from Noah to Christ. In the Old Testament, if a Gentile lived right and continued to do right, God gave him eternal life. That's the nuttiest thing I ever heard. In the New Testament, if a Gentile does not have access to the Scriptures and yet lives right, the Lord obligates himself to get the gospel to that person so he can receive Christ and get eternal life. So that is correct on. And that would happen in the Old Testament because that's what Jonah ended up with Ninevites. That's what happened. They basically, Jonah it's Jonah first to destroy them. The message was destroy him. But they ended up getting saved because God knew they'd get saved. But 2:15. Verses 13 and 15 give further insight into Gentile salvation in the Old Testament. Thousands, quote unquote, of Gentiles were saved in the Old Testament, even though they had no 10 Commandments in writing. 10 Commandments haven't saved anybody. The story of Abimelech in Genesis 20, 4 through 9 shows that the heathen understood God's moral code perfectly. Yeah, they understood a lot of it, conscious of it, adultery, murder, theft. That didn't save them. And when they followed their conscience, God honored their actions and showed them mercy. He showed mercy in the physical eyes. He would bless them, but he can't save anybody without faith. In any dispensation, this is where you buy Whiskey Luke 18. This is where you get the publican going in there and oh, forgive me, have mercy on me, and then they say that's the basis of the sinner's prayer, and they say, oh, see, he got justified. Without faith? But we do more on this. This is a severe heresy. Now, what these guys did is, with Grady, he put it into the New Testament. At least Ruckman kept it in the Old Testament. But Grady put it in, well, we don't know how they're going to get the gospel to these guys. Ruckman said, but God obligates himself to get the gospel to them. But, Ruckman had Old Testament saints, Old Testament people, Gentiles, getting saved by works. You just can't make this stuff up. This guy's off his rocker. No one gets saved by works. So you have to explain that verse in the context of understanding no one gets saved by works. But once you put a faith-work system, everything goes, because works go contradict grace. He just throws it all out. This is a great heresy. I've got some guy arguing about me now. Well, how do you know the Old Testament applied saint? Got the blood applied to them. And I say the foreknowledge of God could foresee the cross and apply it. Where's that scripture on that? Look at Romans 4, where David says his sins were covered. On what basis would his sins be covered? The cross. How could Abraham get saved? The cross. But these are guys who'd rather believe in a works system than believe in the foreknowledge of God, applying on credit the blood. Blood hadn't been shed yet. But God knew the blood was going to be shed from the foundation of the world. What shall we say then that Abraham our father, as pertaining to the flesh, hath found, that if Abraham were justified by works, he hath whereof the glory, but not before God? You can't be justified by works. And Abraham was saved as a Gentile. And what saith the scripture? Abraham believed God and was counted unto righteousness. Now to him that worketh is the reward not reckoned of grace, but of debt. That's what either works or grace. But to him that worketh not, by the way, prayer is a work. So Brian Denning is telling you to add works to grace. Calling upon the name of the Lord in order to get saved is a work. Prayer is a work. Even as David also described the blessings of the man unto God, whom God imputeth righteousness without works, saying, blessed are they whose iniquities are forgiven and whose sins are covered. Blessed is the man to whom the Lord will not impute sin. On what basis would God not do that? Now, you know what the whole Ruckmanites will say? That's a prophecy. That didn't. Nowhere say there's a prophecy. David describes his own condition. How we know it's not a prophecy? Because our sins aren't covered. our sins removed. David's sins were covered onto the cross. They were covered, they were forgiven. But they hadn't been actually taken out of the way and cleaned and forgiven on a permanent basis yet. It happened at the cross. So I just stop with this. I'm show you how insane this is getting. These guys claim Ruckman's going to be Baptist. How do you, well, watch. You're going to watch. Go Breaker. Ask him. That might have been Breaker even coming on there, arguing with me. One of his followers. Well, show me a scripture that says pre-credit. God winked at the Gentiles. Acts 17:30. You got David there explaining that. God in 13:8, from the Lamb was slain from the foundation of the world, so God applied that to credit. That's how any sin was forgiven under the blood had to be based on the cross coming, because all that blood being shed was only a type of the cross. Everything was pointing to the cross, the Passover lamb. All that was pointing. So everything could be applied to the Old Testament saints based on what God saw was coming. They might not have understood it, but God knew it. And that's why he could apply it. But there's always faith in there. You got a system there of talking about people getting saved by works. You've got one of the worst heresies going on. That's why you throw this guy out. Throw out the dispensationalism. Throw everything his faith works. His eternal security, all that stuff. Throw it out. I'll stop here. Amen. Thank you.